Hi there, and welcome to Apple World. Mark Curry, a previous Bad Boy artist, said there was something called the beeg test. It sounds odd, however. The thought was that new specialists needed to go through embarrassing tricks like breaking eggs and getting through unusual challenges. Curry even asserted that some youthful craftsmen were made to play out these stunts as a curved approach to demonstrating they were prepared for distinction. It was like some sort of Inception custom, however, for adolescents scarcely out of primary school, and the most insane part, Diddy the tycoon. Everybody trusted was in that general area, managing it all when it came to bits of gossip, twirled that his own introduction was no less upsetting. Come to the studio, consistently get in, she come to the studio consistently to exacerbate the situation. Drum's dad, who had moved with him to New York and acted as his administrator, was obviously not as defensive as one would trust. Rather, it appears he passed on Jerome to battle for himself as a general rule, and Diddy was the one holding the rules with. Jerome left to, for all intents and purposes, explore this new world on his own. He turned out to be inconceivably weak. It's no big surprise that years later, Jerome would come to portray his time at terribly kid as the start of a long winding that left him sincerely scarred in broad daylight interviews. Hayes referenced how the strain of the music business drove him to a mental meltdown in his initial youngsters envision, the cost it should take on a young person to be pushed into that sort of climate. Presented to grown-up pressures with practically zero direction from a dependable tutor pass, and it appeared like each craftsman, essentially every major craftsman that was on him, got a problem with him. Like he violated him in some sort of way. Like Jerome's breakdown wasn't pretty much the mental cost, it was additionally profoundly physical. As he went through adolescence, he began encountering issues with his voice, an outright bad dream for a youthful vocalist. He wasn't simply managing with the typical voice changes that come with growing up. He created something called reflux illness, which made it challenging for him to sing by any means. As he reviewed in a meeting, I'd attempt to hit notes and nothing would emerge, and nothing would come out. This wasn't simply an instance of terrible timing. It's as though his body was opposing the very industry that had guaranteed him the world. It was only a break for me. I was simply youthful, like everyone in the industry and individuals on the planet who experience and do. While all of this was happening, Diddy's mark wasn't precisely known for its patience. They needed results, and they needed them quick. The studio plans were persistent. The tendency on building in Jerome just couldn't keep up. His well-being was coming up short. His feelings were in unrest, and it seemed like nobody was truly there to help him through it at long last. Later, getting through all of this, Jerome left awful kid at 13 years old. Considering his takeoff, he expressed, it was a combination of the developing torments and the strain of the music business. However, anybody perusing within could tell that this wasn't just about the music, it was about endurance. He was a youth had been tossed into the profound end and left to do or dies. It's so amusing what's occurring with Diddy, since this was inescapable right now. One may keep thinking about whether Jerome's experience was remarkable, or, on the other hand, on the off chance that it highlighted a bigger issue inside the business. And here's where things begin to get significantly more tangled. Throughout the long term, Diddy has been related with various other youthful specialists, some of whom have battled with their own individual devils. Take Justin Bieber for case. When Bieber was simply beginning out, he and Diddy were frequently seen along with Diddy in any event, giving Bieber a vehicle for his 16th birthday celebration. For some time, it appeared to be a normal guide-mentee relationship, yet as Bieber's profession advanced, he too began giving indications of difficulty. There were the mysterious social media posts, the unexpected breakdowns, the battles with emotional wellness. It was as though he were repeating doctor's direction, a chilling update that perhaps, quite possibly, the tensions of distinction were beyond what a youngster could handle. And in this claim, he asserts that basically P. Diddy was the Epstein of the rap business. As a matter of fact, fans have long theorized that a portion of Bieber's music cassette hazier encounters his music video for Yummy is loaded up with symbolism that some have deciphered as a scrutinize of the business, with agitating visuals that appear to recommend a youth being served up as aware. It's everything extremely enigmatic. However, for those able to dig a little more profound, it lays out an image of a youthful craftsman who might have seen more than he lets on, and keeping in mind that it's everything theory, it makes one miracle is there. An example here are these youthful stars attracted to Diddy's mystique and impact, ashy being sucked into a world they're caught off guard for. I hit rock bass, be that as it may. I concoct no reasons my way of behaving on that video is reprehensible. The more one investigates these associations, the more upsetting everything becomes. Diddy has continuously kept a strong picture, an SRO who aided shape the hip jump scene. However, underneath that reflexive outside, there are stories that propose a lot hazier reality. With each new claim and allegation, the veneer begins to disintegrate somewhat more. It's nearly as on the off chance that Diddy's realm, based on the fantasies of youthful craftsmen, could have been developed. Ed on an underpinning of privileged insights, furthermore, shadows, and what's more, the most recent round of claim recommend that Jerome probably won't be the one in particular who was impacted, and we're getting word that one that these informers could soon affirm before a terrific jury in New York. And that one informer is from Detroit as of late. The reports have reached a breaking point. New claims accuse Diddy of an example of conduct that ranges a very long time with allegations, including various us youthful people, some even more youthful than Jerome when he originally marked with an awful kid. As lawyer Tony Busby implied in a new question and answer session, the day will come when we will name names other than Sean Communications, and there are a part of names it appears to be. This is only the beginning, with the potential for more unstable relations about prominent figures who might have been involved or at least complicit. Busby and his group have supposedly assembled significant proof, counting recordings, instant messages, and even clinic records, portraying orderly, unfortunate behavior that could send shockwaves through the amusement world. Think you right, Puff Buddy. He may need to leave. Simply get it's done with your D. Better believe it, you had a damnation of a run. That is all there is to it. You actually have countless dollars. And while Diddy's lawful group has been speedy to excuse these claims as a feature of a media bazaar, the gravity of the cases can't be disregarded with each new detail that arises. It becomes more enthusiastically to look away for quite a long time. Diddy has depicted himself as a humanitarian, a family man, furthermore. A fruitful money manager, yet as more stories like Jones become known, that picture appears to be progressively in conflict with the supposed reality in the background. It's an unusual polarity. A similar man who tossed luxurious gatherings, who fraternized with sovereignty and Hollywood's tip-top at this point, stands blamed for manhandles that appear to be more like locations from a crime thrill ride than reality. And maybe what's most chilling is that this probably won't actually be the finish of it, as additional casualties view as the fortitude to step forward. The world is passed on to ponder exactly the way that profound does this go. Are there more JMS out there, youthful specialists, whose voices were quieted before they even got an opportunity to talk? That, this is the finish of the Diddy story, as far as we might be concerned. And that takes us back to Lil Jerome himself, since driving the music business he's to a great extent avoided the public eye, zeroing in on family and upholding for Alzheimer's mindfulness, a reason near his heart given his family's ancestry with the sickness. Yet, as these new claims unfurl, one can't resist the urge to think of him, a young person who could have been at the actual beginning of a long queue of people whose lives were for eternity changed by their brush with the music industry. Will he track down equity in the wake of these new charges? Just time will tell, however, untie further notice. One thing is certain, the Lil Jerome story is an unpleasant indication of the expense of notoriety, particularly at the point when it comes too early and at excessively high a value. I assume total ownership for my activities in that video, nauseated as the story unfurls. It's clear that there are a lot more layers to strip back, and conceivably seriously surprising insights to reveal. Diddy's domain may appear to be unwavering, however, with each new allegation the brakes are starting to show. The inquiry is, will those breaks extend into a breakdown, or will Diddy find a method for enduring the hardship by and by? As for Jerome and the other potential casualties, the expectation is tough. Their voices will at long last be heard, and that equity, anyway postponed, will at last be served. And that carries us to Diddy's current fights in court, and the secretive captures that appear to flag a much greater examination underway. It's getting hot, no doubt. It totally is. One more layer in question. A government examination concerning Combs has been continuous. However, he has not been charged with a wrongdoing. When you think things couldn't get any more insane, the story takes a much more out-of-control turn, as though Eldrum's experience and the mounting allegations weren't an adequate number of the specialists have now stepped in with full power. You'd think Diddy was unapproachable, right? Yet, no. It appears to be that even his realm has begun to disintegrate under the heaviness of these stunning charges. As of late, we saw Diddy being arrested on charges that are sufficiently significant to make titles all over. And people, this isn't simply your ordinary lawful show. This is a government examination with entire part of weight behind it. The issue is, it appears like he needs to apply power and strength over individuals. Subscribe Apple World for more videos.